So just check, make sure everything's working right. Let's see here. All right. So today's goals is going to be, the main goal is going to be getting this to work on Android. So I've got Sky and basic ground working. But now I just got a new Quest 3. So let's see if we can get this running on the Quest 3. But I can't, let me think here. I'm trying to think. What was my issue? So my issue was if I switched to compatibility, it was compatibility. Let me see here. I don't know why my brain's blanking. So this, if I turn on that setting so that it'll run the automated test. So compatibility doesn't work. XR Simulator, I think, requires compatibility. No. Right. Yeah, hold on. I think it's mobile, right? Let's reload that. So compatibility renderer doesn't work for the ground stuff. The ground stuff doesn't support it. Now if I do XR Simulator, this is just going to work. Yeah, and it's going to follow the script that I wrote for it. Okay. So XR Simulator works for mobile. To get it to work on the headset, I need to switch to compatibility. But that's really annoying because the ground doesn't work. And so if I actually want to test this on the headset properly, I want to be able to just deploy to it directly. And I think to do that, yeah, okay, that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. So let's continue down this road. Where I left off, I got Android Studio installed. And didn't I have another article of somebody talking about issues they ran into and how to get around them? Let me go take a look at that. Move my desk around a little bit. All right. Where was that article? All right, so got Android Studio installed. Android Studio, run it once to complete the SDK setup using these instructions. Okay. Helps you download the SDK tools, platforms, and other components. Blah, blah, blah. So we've got update your tools with the SDK Manager. Click Tools SDK Manager in the toolbar. Settings, tools, Tools SDK Manager. is it not here? Did it move? I remember seeing this interface before. So maybe this is where I need to be. Let's cancel that. This doesn't make any sense. Or well, actually, let me... Sure, let's go side by side. Helps you download SDK tools, platforms, and other components. Once you can find each package in the directory as shown in figure 3. Oh. Once downloaded, you can find each package. Right. So that's settings. Sure, Android SDK. From Android Studio. Maybe that means after like I've created a project. When an update's available, a dash appears in the checkbox. To update an item or install a new one, select the checkbox. Okay. This is saying ensure that the, wait, run it once to complete the SDK setup using these instructions. Okay. So maybe this means if I see any minuses, but I don't. Ensure the required packages are installed as well. Okay, required packages is this stuff here. Okay, so it really was just saying do this portion. Yeah, anything that has a dash, update it. Okay, so something you already had installed, maybe. Required packages. You can find the following tools in the SDK Tools tab. Android SDK Build Tools. SDK Platform Tools. I don't see that. Android SDK, oh, platform dash tools, fine, sure. Command line tools. Fine. Android SDK platform. At least one version. Okay, okay, fine. Google USB driver. It says it's required, fine. Android emulator, it's already there. Fine. Android SDK platform tools 34 or later. Yep. Build tools. Version 34, but I got 36, probably fine. Android SDK platform 34. Wait, huh? In the SDK platforms tab, right. At least one. SDK platform 34. So it's saying 34. So is this saying that maybe I should go back a version? Maybe I should do that. Okay, fine. Let's do it. Let's do that. So we'll do 34. Let's apply that. Following components will be deleted. Sure. While that's doing its thing, let me look at this. NDK and CMake. Well, that's the SDK manager command line, which I didn't install. Android Studio selects the latest available. For most projects, installing this default version is sufficient. If your project needs one or more specific versions, which I think it does, I think it needs a specific version, you can download and configure specific versions. Doing so helps you ensure reproducibility. Do the following. Click OK, click OK. Fine. To install a specific version. Okay. Was that here? I didn't see a drop down. This is showing SDK tools. Somehow you can expand it. Godot is saying yeah, I kind of wish I'd done the command line version. SDK tools. So this is saying CMake NDK. Fine, let's just go with those. Well, actually, hold on. So this is build tools 36 still. I'm on 34. Is that gonna be a problem? Let's go with it. All right, and then what do these other instructions say? Enable developer mode. So it's saying just follow the instructions. Yeah, this article is largely just saying just do what Godot tells you to do. Okay. The slow, tedious part of these things, but hopefully this is the only day I have to do slow, tedious, annoying installation of stuff. It is saying install the Android build template, which I think I already did. Wait, I clicked the wrong thing. Where did that go to? Open user data folder. Okay, good. Manage templates. Download and install. Finish. Show package details, maybe? Ah, okay. So I'm on 34. Maybe I should be doing that. Got you. Let's just keep everything on 34. And then NDK R23. So that's 2328. $23,285. Cool. And then CMake. CMake 310. 310.2. This one. I don't need you anymore. You can go over there. Export templates are installed and ready to use. Close. Okay. Sweet. All right, and then editor settings. Export Android. Android SDK path. What is it? C program files. Oh wait, no. That's not it. Users. Okay, so I went the wrong place. Whoa. I don't know why I did that. Okay, UDAS and then app data. Where's app data? Thought I had an app data folder. Am I just blind? Hold on. No, it's definitely there. It's just hidden. Hold on. See users. Yeah, it's there. How do I show hidden file folders? There we are. App data local Android SDK. Java path. Okay, this is going to be program files. And then, yeah, here we go. JDK 17. Okay. I'm gonna need to mess with these settings, but let me switch back to this. All right, so that's finished. So, set of package details. Let's see where we're at. So it's saying Android SDK. Thought I had platform tools. There we go. Okay, platform tools 34 or later. Well, I'm on 35, so that's probably fine. It says or later, unless there's an issue. Mental note, come back and maybe try 34 here. Build tools. Ah, see, I'm not on 36 though. SDK build tools. I'm on 34. And then Android SDK platform, 34. Command line tools latest, and then CMake. Well, NDK, I'm on 23.28. CMake, I'm on 3.10.2. All right, so that should be good. Editor settings, scroll down, Android. Should be the location where JDK was installed. Android SDK. Yeah, local app data path. Everything is ready to export to Android. With the same Android package name already. Providing launch icons. Launcher icons are used to represent your application to users. There are 3 main icons. I don't think I need to do any of that right now. Godot will replace them using a fallback chain, trying the next in line. Yep. AAB files. Can be generated using this. All right. The key storing key are used to verify your developer identity. Remember the password and keep it in a safe place. It is suggested you use only upper and lowercase letters and numbers. Special characters may cause errors. Now fill in the following form for the Android export. So this other article I'm seeing is saying Android debug key, debug key store pass. Okay, so this is just for debugging locally. That's saying users, your name. This is saying it shouldn't be here. It's saying users, name. roaming Godot key stores. Okay, I may have to come back and change that, but I'll leave that for now. If it works, it works. Let me close that. Where's Godot saying I need to go? Now fill in the following forms in your Android export presets. Project settings. No, I don't think this. I always forget where this is. Well, let me save. File, scene, project, well, project export, right. I thought I saw a YouTube video on how to do this for Meta, specifically Meta. So this is instructions on doing it for Android. All right, I did all this, did that. Yeah, go update all the versions, fine. This thing was saying, yeah, update. So if you already had Android Studio, make sure everything's up to date. Okay. Yeah, and then I gotta go do the settings, and I know I've gotta set the key stores, that's the big thing, and then set some settings. Whoa. Oh, that's the user comment notes. Lots of issues I'm sure people have had. Okay. So that's exporting for Android. And I know for the Quest, it's basically the same thing. Deploying for Android. So this is general export. Did all these things. Okay, but this is, again, that's Google Play Store. I think I still have to do all this, but let's see here. This is for XR. See exporting for Android for full details. Okay, before following the XR specific instructions here, you'll need to first to export to Android in general. Android JDK 7, Studio, configure the location of the Android SDK in Godot. While the mobile Vulkan renderer has many optimizations targeted at mobile devices, we're still working out the kinks. It is highly advisable to use the compatibility renderer for the time being when targeting Android-based XR devices. But the compatibility renderer doesn't work. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, the issue wasn't with the issue wasn't with the ground, it's with the sky. The ground supports compatibility, the sky does not. Well, so I know if I'm doing Meta, it's going to be Android anyway. All right, let me drag this out. So real quick, let me just make sure there isn't an update on the library. Because if there is, fact, let me make sure that, oh, there it is. So there's terrain 3D. All right, so the 1.0 release from 3 weeks ago. Fixes to prepare for C# bindings. Okay, so they're working on C#. No updates really here. What about this? What about Sky? Nothing. Last month. And I'm guessing somebody said something about compatibility. Nope. All right, I'm not going to waste my time there. But the second they do have an update, I want to get it. So they're saying it's highly advisable to use the compatibility renderer. I'm not going to do that. Gradle Android build. Official support for the Android platform wasn't added to the OpenXR specification initially, resulting in various vendors creating custom loaders. Is that all vendors will adapt to the official XR loader. For now, these loaders need to be added to your project. In order to add the vendor-specific loader, install the templates. Okay, so that's probably just all the different templates. Android inside your project that contains all the... Did it? Export presets. Where did I get these from? The Godot. Did I install Godot XR tools? Or did I try? I don't see an Android. Project install Android build templates. All is already installed in this project, and it won't be. Remove res Android. Oh, so there is an Android folder. Pretty sure that wasn't there before, but okay. Godot won't show this in the editor, but you can find it. You can read more about Gradle builds here. Installing the vendor plugin. Yes, I think I already did that. For Godot 4.2 only. This is for 3 and up. For 3 and up. I think I already have it. Godot vendor. But it doesn't say the version. I think editor settings, no. Project settings, right? Plugins. Do I have to enable it? Well, let's just, worst case, let's just do it. Worst case, it'll say we already have it. But if it's been updated, forget how you see the difference. Oh, there we go. let's just cancel. If I run into issues later, I can always try to reinstall it or something like that. This is going to be the most boring stream ever. Okay. Creating export presets. Separate export for each device, as each device will need its own loader included. Fine. Project. Okay. Add, select Android. Next, change the name of the export preset for the device you're setting this up for. Say MetaQuest. Fine, I'll call it MetaQuest. A little bit more descriptive, I agree. Change the XR mode to OpenXR. XR mode, OpenXR. Then select the entry for the headset if you see one. Gotcha. You'd think this would be a drop-down select, like pick the device. Scroll to the bottom. I always, whenever I read any XR documentation, I read in the voice of, what's his name? What is his name? I forget, but he's done like all the XR stuff. Like he's the reason why XR even works for Godot. Anyway, I've watched so many of his videos. I always just read it in his voice. Okay, so scroll to the bottom of the list and you'll find additional XR feature sections, including, currently only Meta XR features. Pico, Magic Leap, and Chronos. You will need to select the appropriate settings if you wish to use these features. Eye tracking, face tracking, body tracking, hand tracking. Let's do hand tracking and say it's required. Well, let's make it optional for now. I might make it required later. Ideally, when this thing's working, like you just wouldn't use the controllers with it, would be my hope. Although now I actually can imagine certain people needing the controllers. Actually, no, since you'd have to hold a book. It's literally, you would never use the controllers. That's fine. We'll take it step by step. Hand tracking frequency. Low? I guess we'll keep it low. Pass through. Yes. Required. Render model. I don't know what that means. Anchor API. Anchor sharing API. Scene API. Overlay keyboard. Okay, so here's the problem I'm probably going to run into. Is I probably need to turn on a setting here for pass-through. The pass-through camera API. Because it's probably not this pass-through. And Godot doesn't currently have support for it. So that raises the question of, can I install that? Yeah, can I get it working using... Yeah, will I even be able to get it working? Whatever. We'll go as far down this path as we can until I hit a wall. Scene API, overlay keyboard, experimental features. Quest 2 support off. Quest Pro. Maybe. Running on your device from the Godot editor. If you set up your export settings as described above and your headset is connected to your computer and correctly recognized, you can launch it directly from the Godot editor. That's what I want in one click. Some extra steps. Target platform requires use Gradle build must be enabled to use the plugins. Is that all the way at the top? Let me resolve these issues. Okay. Project name. Yeah, com.example. I think it's I think you still want it to be com dot something. Maybe you change example to your name. Let's see here. Okay, so use Gradle's on export format. Oh, yeah, export APK. XR features. Open XR, yep. Min SDK. I need to do the key store. Oh, min SDK, target SDK. Those are the defaults. Permissions. Oh yeah, let me look at some of these permissions. Bluetooth, cell phone. Let's go with camera, just in case. Capture video output. Location. Media. Read input state. Send SMS, set alarm, set time, set wallpaper, IR, vibrate, wake. Okay. Right. So I had this set up before. Let's do that. Oh, what is that game name? Right. Project name. For the package name, wait, the project name does not meet the requirement for the package name format and will be updated to reading room. Oh, I see. That's why it's a yellow warning, because it's just saying gen name is going to be set to reading room. Okay. So maybe I don't need to do anything else. In the past, it would yell at me if I didn't have the APK. Where is that? The key store stuff figured out. Sure. Maybe it'll yell right now because it doesn't have what it needs. The first time should be slow, and thereafter should be faster, I think, if I remember, because I did do this a few years ago. Yeah, it even tells you, yeah, subsequent builds will be faster. All right, let me read some more while I figure this out. Let's go back over here. What does this say? So that's Google Play Store, and that is where I would need an AAB file. But that's Google Play. That's not the Horizon Store or anything like that. Developer identity, remember your password, keep it in a safe place. So, okay, go generate a key store, save it somewhere so you never lose it. And then that's the release settings. Right. So if I'm going to export it from there, uncheck export with debug checkbox while exporting. File sizes. The reason you don't do this to save space with AABs is that Google will automatically split it. Okay. So maybe I'm okay for the moment. This, I'll just hit OK, and I'll leave Android Studio up. And what's Godot telling me? Is it happy? suppose. I don't know what I did there. Well, that's cool that the simulator runs from mobile here, so I don't need to switch back to compatibility. That's nice. Did that always work? And the light changed. Well, that's cool. I think that was when I was doing it from here, right? Okay, that was definitely not working before, but now it works. So yeah, now the text is going to come up and like a half second later it's going to change too. Might want to slow that down a bit. Okay. But this is, okay, so it says, what did it say? If the headset's connected, right? And your headset is connected to your computer. All right, let me try. Let me exit that. And let's see about getting the headset connected. The new pass-through is nice, so I can actually just have the headset on and still work on the computer using pass-through. So that makes life a bit easier. Yeah, I can kind of read that. Add your Quest 3 to your PC. Games and experiences. Continue. Link. Continue. Sure. Put on your headset to start link. Close. All right. Let's pull that over here. Wait, what did that show? It showed oh, okay, it added a thing. What if I restart? Taking a moment. It's not working. What if I take it off and then let's put it down and then see if maybe, oh, by the way, let me make sure I can put on developer mode, because I didn't turn on developer mode for this headset yet. Why is it not doing it? It's always a little finicky, it seems like. There we are. And then developer mode. Ooh, okay, here we go. Your device is not secure in developer mode. It may be vulnerable. Allow. Okay. All right. Oh, hey, is that a new icon I see? Let's try it. This is what I wanted. Maybe it has to build specifically for. Okay, you can kind of drink with the headset on. Mostly drink. Is it gonna launch? I see an error. Can't something. Can't open file path bin template. libocr ruh-roh. Maybe I need to move that over. Okay, so OCR is probably broken. That's not good. Create a new boundary. As long as it launches, I can figure out the errors later. Well, hey now. It launches. Can I... Hold on. Okay, but you can't see it on the computer. I'd have to like cast it somehow. But okay. Okay, I don't think I have controller mappings for the hands. Ooh. But at least the controllers are working. Press the button, and it's probably not going to work. It's probably going to not do the OCR. Yeah, it would have been done by now. Things aren't that smooth. They're kind of choppy. Alright, well that'll be something to debug. But it works. Good, so now I don't have to go to compatibility mode anymore. Can't open file. All right. Where am I at? So it's saying res bin. Oh, because it needs to be for Android. I didn't do an Android build. Okay. Because what I did, we do ls bin Android, ls bin Windows. Right. So I need to history What is it? I got to do a build for that. Okay, so XR Simulator uses Windows, not Android. Gotcha. So if I need to test something, I need to make sure I do it for both. I got to build it for Windows and I have to build it for Android. Otherwise, I'll be in a situation where everything will work fine in XR Simulator when I'm running that locally, but then when I put it on the VR headset, it won't work. All right, hold on one second. All right, history, pipe, grep, gone. Okay, platform. Can I do scon? Well, let's just do scons-s help. And let me zoom in on this a bit. Let's see what it's. Whoa. Here we are. Custom tools. Platform. Target platform. Can I do multiple? Oops. What if I do that? Valid values are... I mean, come on. Can I do... Please, like, why not? Scons, multiple platforms. Because I don't want to have to run the same command over and over again and have to remember. Oh, that's a good question too. Like, is my S construct file set up for that? Like, there might be some change I need to make there, but hopefully not. All right, well, let's just start with, does it even work on Android? Womp womp. Key error, Android home. Fun. Okay, well, here we are. I know what I'm doing today. All right, let me just quickly go through some things. Just checking something on Godot's docs. All right, that's fine. Actually, let me just check. Make sure I'm not missing something before I go back in to the deep dive. that. Actually, what else we got here? One more second, just getting distracted. All right, close that. So, you're front and center. You're what I'm spending my time on today. Scones. Key error. Android Home. So, let me actually read this though. Let's take a look. Vim. S construct, right? I really need to fix my Vim RC on this machine. These colors are horrendous. 36. S construct. Godot CPP S construct. env customs. Godot. Okay, so it got down into Godot CPP. If tool is none and not tool.exists, env. Tools Android, get Android NDK root, env. Is not none. If env Android home. All right. Get Android NDK root. So I have to tell it somehow where the NDK root is. That's the thing. So the error is can't find Android Home. But that's because this was false. So instead of looking at random errors on the internet and expecting random people to answer it, let's go to GitHub. Let's go find Godot CPP. I know it's out here somewhere. Repositories. There we are. Godot CPP. And this is going to be tools. Android.py. Line 22 exists. So this is the exists. Now let's go after it actually. So this is where I think I should be injecting myself. But if we go to 31, okay, there we are. So okay, well that's calling get Android NDK root. So in the environment, it's expecting Android home /NDK. Else it's going to the OS environment. Okay, so if I tell it the path to where this folder is, then that should just work. But this above this is Godot CPP if tool is none and not tool.exists. I could go look in this file, but I bet, well, why not? It'll be educational, if nothing else. I already have a guess that that's not where I want to be, but let's go for it. Let's go to line 488. Almost there. So this is the generate call, which is happening from the S construct file in Godot CPP. So it's calling generate. does a bunch of things. Num jobs, checking various environment variables, dev build, debug, scon's version, get platform tools path. Tool. Okay, so I think it found this tool. Tool.generate, I think that worked. Threads. Configuration for build targets. So this is where it's going to say what to do for Windows versus others, I think. But this is off. Probably because they changed this file and things got bumped down. This is probably a different I probably have a different version. This is master. CD Godot CPP git status -s. Git log. So always hitting command because of OSX. So if I go to Godot CPP, yeah, so this is 4.4. If I go to 4.3, it should be this one. And then I can go to tools, Godot CPP. Let's go off a directory. Oh, that's a little odd. Okay. Sorry, I was in the wrong spot. That's not what I wanted to be. Okay, I wanted the error. 488, huh? Yeah, okay, we're off by 1. So there might be an extra code push here that got missed, but this is that. So this is on master. Let's close that. This is on master, but really, just to be careful, let's go 4.3. I don't think it would have changed, but you never know. Okay, so this makes sense. So it was that line further up. I thought it might be. So it's getting the tool. We're saying Android platform, right? So tool passing in platform. Tool is saying, you know, if it found it, well, get platform tool path. Which oh, so it found the tool. It found Android. So it figures out that this is Android. So it's loading in Android. So it's basically an instance of this class or this tool or whatever it is, and then it's saying if is none or not exists. So now it's saying go call the exists, go find the NDK root. All right, whatever. I just need to specify the NDK root. That's what I have to do. And that is, let me just run it again so I get the error again. That is happening in my code on line 36. Right? 36. Yeah, that line. So I have to do it before here. Submodule initialize. Local env.clone. So do I want to set the environment variable here? Environment default. So should I be either figuring out where this is loading from? Well, I can always do this. Breakpoint. And let's hit it. And there's the breakpoint. Let's zoom in a little bit, shall we? What's env? Dir on env. What's env? Env is a class. It's a scon's environment object. Actually, what is local env? It's probably the exact same thing. I hate that. I think just highlighting it copies it, but I think it's control insert actually does the copy. I really need to remap that. So what is sconstruct environment? Oh, great. You just gave me code. Fine. Environments. Python dictionaries. That didn't answer my question. Fine. Scon's environment variables. Okay, this is annoying. In theory, there should be an environment file that I can just set this in. I could just set it here in the code, and that's probably fine. If I look at where this is failing, it's down here in Android. Environment's getting passed in. Get Android SDK. So it's saying it's expecting a dictionary. Well, okay. I don't know what env looks like at this point. So that's a good point. I assume it's that environment, but I don't know. Let's continue on that. Where's our error? So I call here, but then sconstruct does its thing, does its thing, does its thing, and then it hits here. So I don't know where it's getting that environment from. This, at this point, it's a simple dictionary. This environment here, this is not a simple dictionary. This is some sort of like loaded thing. It might not even be the same environment. So env, where does env come from? Actually, is env dev build. Oh, it's building a okay, so it's just assigning. Yes, it's calling generate. I mean, if I run it again. key error, because it doesn't know what that is. Fine. What do other people say? They probably just say, someone's going to say, just go set a file, or pass it as a command line arg. Yeah, pass it as a -C. Not what I wanted. This is being really annoying. Yeah, this wasn't going to help me. Scon's pass environment variable. Right, so this one is tools. Multiple compilers to choose from. Okay. The issue here is that you have multiple compilers to choose from on your system. How to tell scons which one to use. By default, it'll look at the compiler specified in your system. Two ways of telling scons which compiler to use, both of which will require extra logic. Environment variables, command line arguments. Fine. I guess I'll do this that way. I think I know what to do. Clear, not clean. There we go. Scons -- help, which it'll try to run anyway. And then hit the PDB statement, which is dumb. Let's close that. In fact, I'm probably not going to edit that file at all. I'll just pass it as a argument. So there's a bunch of flags here. Android Home is one. So that would mean it's passed like platform. Where is that? Okay, so it's just Android Home, like it's Android Home equals. All right, so for for my notes, was it ls vim docs? So I have docs for this, right? That's installing Tesseract. Didn't I create docs for? Well, it might be in the installing Tesseract docs. I might have to move it around. Scons. Right. So here I'm going to have to do scons platform. I'm going to clean these notes up because I just need this as a shortcut. Android Home equals whatever use Ming W is yes. I'll just make a note there. I'll change it later. Okay, so where is it? Godot probably knows, right? Project settings. Close project export. Does this one have it? Where did I set that to? Close. Editor settings. Band. Okay. And this is saying it needs /ndk. So if I go look this up, if we go to app data from here, there's a chance it'll be local Android. That's SDK. That's the Java SDK, Android SDK. I'll search for NDK, see if that pops up something at some point. This does get back to the question of, do I need to run a build? So this worked. I actually got the editor running, so that's all goodness. So this is saying, so generate key store, fill it in for the release. But I've yet to do a build. I remember having to do this before. Like I had to like do a build. Yeah, let me kill the Android Studio. Might not actually need that. I seem to like vaguely recall having to do like a build manually, but maybe that's no longer needed. See, it did install the NDK though, so let's give it another shot, see if I can find it. Because I know I installed it, so where did it go? Weird. But I already did it. This better not have like messed anything up. I feel like I'm back to square one. Hold on. was that? Great. All right, well, now I'm back to doing this again. So all right, I think I'm basically done with this one. It was somewhere in settings, right? Here we are. Yeah, 14. There's our NDK. It's installed. Right. So where is it? Oh. Oh. Okay. Maybe. Maybe it's like inside that SDK folder. Okay. Let's try that. Local Android SDK. Then there's an NDK folder. Ah. NDK, yeah. Okay. Well, there it is. So how do I do this? What's the right way to do this? ls/c local So is it going to be that it needs? Let's try that. So it's going to have that path, and then it's going to look for, which this is not the right way to set up a path lookup in Python, because what happens if I add a slash? All of a sudden this breaks. So there are safer ways to build a path like this for them to take whatever path you've provided and then add on a new element to it. That doesn't involve doing plus signs on string concatenations. But that's fine. Let's go with that and see if it works. I think it's thinking. Yay. Okay, cool. So that worked. So that's the command. Let's grab this. What is it? Control insert, and then while that's running, I'll go edit those notes again. Oops. CD squiggle slash dev reading room. Wow, this is slow. Why is it so slow? There we are. And then Android. There we are. So I could, here is the way to do this. I still have this. Here's what you would do. I'm going to make a shell script. Vim, and I'm going to call it build all let's call it OCR build all.sh. Now I could pass in flags and make it so I could say Windows and or Android and or whatever. I'm not going to overcomplicate it. So I'm going to do this, shift insert. Ooh, okay, that's wrong. Why is this so slow? Is it because it's building right now? Here we are. Was it control insert? Come on. There we go. Shift insert. There we are. And then for this, it's just Windows, right? So this would be a shortcut to build all. And so this would run Windows and then it would run Android. Now, my shell scripting skills are a little dated. What is it? Okay, jeez. Okay, thank you. So slow. Yeah, right. Control insert. So I do need to start the file a certain way, and then I need to chmod it, probably. Right, that should be all I need. So it's now officially a shell script. And then it should not take that long to close a file. ls minus ltr. Yeah, OCR build all. It's got X permission. I would have thought, well, maybe that's just how stupid Windows can be. Normally on other systems, you'd have to chmod plus X on it to let it be executable. But now it should work. It should be /ocr.sh, which I'm not going to run that just yet because this is still running. And this first run is going to be slow, this first compile. There will hit a point where it's doing some like file linking. But after it does it once, rebuilds should all be faster. Now the question is that linking step different between Windows and Android? And if it is it going to be the kind of thing where if I rebuild Android over and over again, it's super fast? And if I rebuild Windows over and over again, it's super fast. But if I switch back and forth between the two, does it have to like clear out everything and start over? In which case, that'll be super annoying. That would mean then... So if I want to use... XR Simulator uses Windows. I need Android for the actual headset. That's annoying. I guess... Yeah, I mean, I guess I would then just create flags for, if I really wanted to, if it's like a dev build or something like that versus a release build. Knowing that release builds would be where it's going to be a pain. Or I do a thing where, like, if I know I'm walking away and grabbing lunch or something, I kick off a build for both, right? Just might as well build both. This is only an issue, to be fair, if I touch the C++ code. But I know I'm going to have to touch it at least once more soon. So I don't love this, but we'll see. The question is, after it gets past building once, can I run this build all script, and is it fast for both? If it's fast for both, then the problem's solved. it's a non-issue then. Just always build for both all the time, always. Anyway, that's running. In theory, once that finishes, I can then run this again on the Quest 3. And then, I thought it was named. It then should actually work when I run it here. So when I run on the Quest 3, it should work on the headset. And then, now then, that's great. That's all goodness. So this error should go away. And the OCR should work. So then I should be able to figure out how to fully sideload it on the headset. But before I get to that, I'm probably going to go ahead and just do an experiment. See if I can get the pass-through camera data and see what it says. I'm not getting any logs, which is not great. Although, actually, debug, deploy with remote debugging. I think that's the setting I need for it to throw an error. So actually, well, it's building right now. I don't want to run this because I don't want it to try to like read a file while it's being written to, and then it screams and crashes, and then the file's locked, and you know, I don't want to deal with any of that. So let me finish the build first, and then let me test this to see, can I run it on the headset and get error logs here? Also, pass-through works. I'd like to grab some test images and save them and use them with XR Simulator so that I can run quick dev tests while I'm still coding. And I don't know if I can easily get those images off the Quest. Maybe I can do like a file system save, which would then save it locally to the Quest headset, and then I could do a file transfer off the headset to local. It'll be annoying, but hopefully it'll be something I just do once, and then I can just do automated tests, set up a bunch of automated tests, so then I can just quickly build and run constantly. Anyway, is that still building? Yeah, still building. Yeah, what's the export here? So I named it MetaQuest. I don't like capitalized names. Let's call it Reading Room. Let's do it as that. Not that I needed to do that. Well, a lot of things are running at the same time. Something finish. Something's thinking. Okay, so build succeeded, whatever. So the name is MetaQuest. I think I can change that icon. Right, yeah, okay. Icons will be a thing to get to. For some reason this is still... what do I care? That refreshing index is a little bit concerning. Yeah, let's remove. Yeah, this is why I don't like spaces in file names, because then you get the quoted nonsense, and it's just stupid. Let's remove that. Yeah, so now we just have reading underscore room APK. Okay. Git diff source. Oh, the .os files, they changed. Did they change because of the Android build? If so, I probably want to remove them from source control. Same thing with this debug DLL. I thought I already added Sky 3D, but maybe this got pulled in somehow. Git diff export presets. Ah, okay, that's the Android configs. Command failed during linking. Unable to find library. Ah, okay, cool. That is because, let's move into the bin directory. Let's do ls Windows, ls Android. Android has nothing. Okay. Let's copy Windows lib star over to Android. And then we'll copy Windows zlib over to Android. And then I'm going to remove Android lib OCR star. So ls on Windows, ls on Android. So we should have all those libdlls are there. And that should be it. Let's run this again. Hopefully it'll skip all those earlier steps. What is... Why? Why are you unable to find that? Unable to find library. I don't think I had to touch any of this. So this is where I tell it where to find the files. That's fine. Windows has that. Android has that. Why are they different? Oh, because it's got, like, this is pushing it to the right. Okay. I think that's all okay. We have Godot CPP. What's in source? Let's do code dot. Just bring up VS Code. It'll be slightly easier. So OCR CPP should not care. Well, what about scon's windows? History pipe grep scon's. Let's just make sure that this still works. Ooh, no. Oh, oops. Copied the wrong thing. That should still build. So why is it saying it can't find? So this is interesting. So it is, oh yeah, done building target. So it finished. And these files did change. Adding TIFF. But up here, well, no, it's the same thing. Oh, these logs are from me. I added these logs. So let's see what's different between them. Done reading sconstruct file, building targets, Godot CPP, bin libgodot Android is up to date, compiling the shared libraries, and then the linking. The linking fails immediately. Now in the past, this is where it would just hang, and it would seem like it was just stuck there, but it was actually doing real work. It was actually taking time. But this, Clang++. Linker command failed with exit code. So is this because I have to change something here? But I don't think this really mattered. All right, let me search this error. So this worked anyway. So I'm done with this. I can close all that. One thing I can do, well, I'm not going to do the multi-platform. I'm just not going to care about it. Before I go down that rabbit hole, let me search for scon's platform equals Android. See if somebody has this in their code. So I still have it as the use mingw. If it can't find the library, then what if I turn off use mingw? ARM64. No. Yeah, because it might be having trouble locating. It's -L Tesseract, -L Leptonica, -L TIFF. Oh, didn't I... Let me go back to my README. So what did I have to do in my steps? This is where meticulous documentation can save you. And luckily I have some meticulous documentation. Which terminal for what? So Ming W64 was for scans, C++ building. Building and installing with VC package, no. This was a bad idea. Using command prompt for Tesseract CLI, git bash for Vim. msys2 is just for that. Okay. I think this is all you need to do for scans outside of VS Code. So we did the pacman install. Then add the named libraries to sconstruct. Right. It should still work though. It should still be able to find these. Unless maybe it doesn't know where to find them. Don't recall exactly what I did, but I did generate the .h file. So I could use these scans args to tell me what's going on. Godot CPP, git submodule. Oh. So you change directory into Godot CPP and run scans there as well. Let's try that. cd Godot. Let's run that there. So I had run scans directly on Godot CPP. And then went up directory and ran. Okay. Yep. Tesseract CLI, Tesseract settings. Let's see. And then okay. All right, well, I don't know if that's going to do anything or not, but let's let it go and see if maybe for whatever reason Godot CPP needs to get built first, and then it can then pick up my project stuff during the build, and which is maybe that's why I can't find the. I think I'm stupid. I think I just figured it out. The issue being, these are DLLs. These are also DLLs. These shouldn't be DLLs. For Android, Android doesn't use DLLs. So, can I open a second one? Man, everything's running slow right now. I mean, I might have had to do this anyway, but I wonder. Godot CPP. So if I do ls bin now, that's the bin directory. It gets gen. Include. No. Hold on 1 second. Hold on. Where am I at? Ooh, 2 hours. Let me do that and do that. Okay. Sorry for that. Let's get back to it. All right, so what's in here? Well, that's the, okay, that's the gen folder. What if I do find here dash name star.dll? None. So where would it put them? Okay, so maybe this is just not something I needed to do. But what I can do is figure out where I got those DLLs from. So actually, let's do an ls bin Windows. I think I know where, but let me just confirm. Find slash dash name. And we're gonna look for, I don't know, lib JPEG. Or actually, let's do lib lep Tonica star. So I think it's like slash C Ming W64 bin. Right. And this shouldn't take that long. And I'm telling it to use Ming W64 when running. let me just assume that that's right. So let's do ls/mingw64 bin actually instead let's do a so that was just DLLs. And then there's .a files. Maybe it should be a DLL. What was it trying to build for Android? I think it was trying to build a .a, maybe? .dll versus .a. No, I think it was a .o. So I don't get a .o file. .so. Yeah, I'll have to run my other build again to see what was the extension on the Android file it was trying to create for us. Okay, so .a is static files, .dll is the dynamic files. Shared objects library that's automatically linked into a program. Static library. Essentially the same as a shared object, but rather than including the linking list at compile time, does not need to be present at build time for the program to compile. So for performance, I wonder if the .a is better. All right, I didn't realize I was going to have to go down this rabbit hole of rebuilding Tesseract again for everything, but I guess if I want this thing to run on its own on the headset, this is what I got to do. I had it working on Windows, now I have to do it for Android. Yeah, let me keep that there. Okay, CD reading room, ls, bin, Android. No, those are just the files I put there. Oh, here we go. -.a. Okay, so maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe it could just be .dll. Although I may want to switch to .a files if it's more performant, if it's like a compile time cost versus a runtime cost, directly into the final executable produced by the linker. It is contained in it, and there is no need to have the library in the system where the executable will be deployed. Okay, so if I use the .a files, then I don't need the DLLs sitting in the bin directory? That are related to the OS. This exported functions are intended to be called. An SO library on Linux doesn't need special export statement. Oh, am I gonna have like a problem in building this for Android? Am I gonna have to build this by hand for Android? Well, this is still running. That finished. And it says it put it in bin. So oh, I must have missed it, but there it is. There's Android and there's Windows. Okay, so on the off chance that maybe this is the only thing I was missing, let's give it a whirl. Although I don't think it's going to work. I think I'm going to get the same error. It's not failing. You know why? Okay, so it was that maybe. So before when I failed, I think it couldn't find the -a file, the Android -a.a file. Broke immediately because it couldn't link, and then immediately ran into errors. Now, it might still run into the can't find my dependencies. I might still run into that issue, but at least it'll probably be after this linking step. Because I think it does all this linking first, and then it goes and tries to build my stuff. But I don't know if it matters. Android is Linux. C++ scones build for Android. Yeah, same error. .so. What was the deal with .so again? .so. Can you do like scones mix DLL and SO? Do scones building Android on Windows. Uh-oh, Godot. This is exactly maybe my issue. Using a Linux subsystem with a Ubuntu shell for Bash. I'm using the command scones platform Android. Well, does this file exist? Appears that I was using why you're defining the path with 32-bit NDK. All right, I'm gonna hold on to this. So I might need to build using WSL. That's Godot source code. Let's see. The Linux NDK directory. Why are you defining the path with C:? If it's on WSL, you should be using a Linux system. Okay. All right, well, I'm gonna take a break from this, come back. Probably just try to solve it on my own this afternoon after lunch. But yeah, this is not where I wanted to be today, but here we are. All right. Bye.